There's a very specific kind of silence that follows people who feel different from everyone else. It's not the silence of loneliness, and it's not the silence of isolation. It's the silence of someone who has always felt like they're observing life from just a few steps outside the circle. You walk into rooms and instantly sense the emotional temperature. You can feel tension that others ignore, hear meaning behind words no one else notices, and see dynamics unfolding before they happen. And yet, despite this heightened awareness, you often feel strangely disconnected from the social world around you, as if you're tuned into a frequency that most people can't hear. If this feels familiar, social psychology has something important to tell you. You're not socially broken. You're not behind. You're not too sensitive, too quiet, or too intense. In fact, the very things that make you feel out of place are often signs of rare psychological strengths that only a small percentage of people possess. Today, we're going to explore 5 deep social psychology traits commonly found in people who feel fundamentally different from others. These traits don't make you odd, they make you exceptional. #1. You notice social patterns others completely miss. Social psychology calls this high-resolution social perception, and it's one of the rarest forms of social intelligence. Most people interact with the world on a surface level. They hear words, but they don't notice the hesitation behind them. They see smiles, but they don't detect the exhaustion hiding underneath. They listen to conversations without sensing the subtle power dynamics playing out in real time. But your mind works differently. Your attention is not passive, it scans, detects, analyzes, and decodes. You notice. Tiny changes in someone's tone. The way their eyes shift when they're unsure. How their shoulders drop when they feel defeated. The energy of a room thickening before an argument. When someone wants to leave but is too polite to say it. This isn't paranoia. This isn't overthinking. This is pattern recognition, a highly evolved form of social awareness that forms in people who have spent years watching others carefully, often because they had to. You may not even realize you're doing it. But this ability explains why you feel different. Your mind is processing social information more deeply than the average person. You aren't disconnected from social life, you're actually too connected, but in a way most people can't match. And when you see more than others, you naturally feel out of sync with those who barely see anything at all. #2. You don't fit in because you refuse to perform ***. Most social groups operate based on unspoken rules. *** the masks people wear. *** the niceties they exchange without meaning. *** the jokes they laugh at just to belong. *** the roles they play to keep the group functioning smoothly. But people who feel different, people like you, don't participate in these performances. You don't force enthusiasm. You don't pretend to like someone you don't respect. You don't laugh on cue. You don't mirror the group just to be accepted. Not because you're rude or cold. But because your authenticity refuses to shrink just to make others comfortable. Social psychology calls this identity clarity, a rare psychological state where your internal identity is stronger than the external pressure to conform. Most people shape-shift depending on who they're with. They soften their opinions, hide their emotions, dilute their truth. But you've burned too many emotional masks to ever wear one again. You've likely been through experiences where pretending didn't keep you safe. Where fitting in didn't prevent hurt. Where invisibility wasn't an option. So now, you tell the truth even when it disrupts the script. You say, "I don't like this," when others smile through their discomfort. You walk away from conversations that are draining, shallow, or dishonest. And while this makes some people uncomfortable, it also makes the right people feel seen, grounded, and safe around you. People who are pretending fear authenticity. People who are seeking truth are drawn to it. Your difference is not a flaw. It's a filter. #3. You feel drained by social interaction faster than most people. Even when you like people. Even when you're having a good time. Even when you're not anxious, overwhelmed, or bored. You still end up exhausted. Why? Because your brain is doing more work during social contact than most people's brains ever do. You're not just participating in a conversation. You're tracking emotional undercurrents, observing microbehaviors, evaluating motives, managing your own responses, and maintaining internal awareness of the entire social environment. This is what social psychology calls high social sensitivity, and it dramatically increases cognitive load. It's like running a social marathon while everyone else is taking a walk. And because of this, you recharge differently from others. Some people fill up by being around a crowd, you empty. Some people feel energized after a group event, you feel hollowed out. Some people crave noise, you crave quiet. Solitude for you is not avoidance. It's a reset button, a psychological restoration process that helps you return to yourself. You're not antisocial. You're energetically precise. You spend your energy intentionally because you're deeply aware of how limited it is. 4. You connect deeply or not at all. There is nothing medium about the way you bond with people. For you, connection is either real or it simply doesn't happen. Most people can maintain casual friendships for years. Relationships built on convenience, proximity, small talk, and routine. But you? None of that works for your mind. You feel bored, disconnected, or even irritated by shallow conversations. Friendships that never grow. Emotionally unavailable people. Relationships based on gossip or drama. Groups that bond through conformity instead of authenticity. Your personality is wired for depth, and depth is not compatible with everyone. Social psychology calls this selective social bonding. A trait found in people who don't seek quantity, only quality. You want conversations with substance. People who are self-aware. Relationships built on honesty. A level of emotional intimacy most people avoid. Friendships where you don't have to filter your soul. This makes you extremely loyal once you find the right people. But it also means you go long stretches of life with very few meaningful relationships. Not because you're difficult. Not because something is wrong with you. But because the kind of connection you require is rare, and it cannot be forced. Your mind doesn't attach easily, but when it does, it attaches authentically. You don't want fragments of people, you want the whole person. And that alone sets you apart. 5. You carry a type of emotional wisdom beyond your age. There's a reason people come to you with their problems. There's a reason strangers open up to you without understanding why. There's a reason people say things like, "I've never told anyone this before. I don't know why I feel safe talking to you." You just get it. It's because you radiate something that can't be faked. Emotional gravity. This is a form of psychological presence that makes people feel grounded in your company. Social psychology calls this empathetic authority. The combination of deep empathy, emotional insight, and non-judgmental awareness. You understand pain not intellectually, but experientially. You understand people not by studying them, but by feeling them. Your life has taught you lessons that others have never had to learn. How to sit with discomfort. How to read silence. How to sense emotional danger. How to comfort without controlling. How to stay calm in chaos. How to heal without pretending. This wisdom makes you seem older than your age. Not in years, but in soul depth. You're not just a participant in life, you're an observer, a listener, a decoder, a guide. People trust you because they feel understood, not judged. They feel seen, not evaluated. They feel safe, not exposed. And that is a form of psychological power that most people never develop. Glowing star. The reframe: you're not an outsider, you're an outlier. If you felt different your whole life. If you've wondered why you can't fit into places where everyone else seems comfortable. If you felt like your mind works differently. It's because it does. Here's the truth social psychology wants you to understand. You are not socially insufficient, you are socially advanced. Your difference is not a deficit, it's a refinement. Your discomfort in shallow spaces is not a weakness, it's intelligence. Your exhaustion in social interactions is not fragility, it's depth. Your selective bonding is not avoidance, it's maturity. Your emotional wisdom is not coincidence, it's earned. You're not behind. You're built differently. And the world has not caught up. The reason you feel like you don't belong is because you're not meant to fit into small places. You're meant to find your people, the ones who recognize the depth you carry and speak the same unsimplified emotional language. People like you don't blend in. People like you stand out quietly. Until you meet someone who sees the world with the same clarity. The same intensity. The same authenticity. You are not lost. You are searching for resonance. Sparkle's a final word. People who feel different often spend years thinking something is wrong with them. But what if the opposite is true? What if the world is simply too loud, too shallow, too chaotic? For someone who feels and sees as deeply as you do. You're not the problem. You are the exception. And exceptions don't blend, they illuminate.